Hello, welcome to Chapter 3 Podcast, the show for readers of science fiction, fantasy, and romance. This is Season 2, Episode 22. And today we're going to be discussing the recent historical romance film, Mr. Malcolm's List, which I think has been getting less attention than it deserves, perhaps.
I don't disagree with you. You would think with the Bridgerton fans, we would have a bigger interest in it.
Honestly. And so we went to see it. I will say, you know, it was from a smaller studio, so I know it was a limited release, but I loved it.
I really liked it. I really liked it. I was very surprised.
Me too. It took me a little while to get into at the beginning, I feel like, but it served everything I wanted from these two relationships, and
it was so good. It was so good.
It was so good. It was so cute. It was so romantic, and the casting choices were so interesting, but I think worked really well.
Yep.
Yeah. It was visually beautiful.
Very appealing. Yeah. Just like Bridgerton. It's very visually appealing.
Yes.
I feel like they took Bridgerton and said, we're going to make a movie off a historical, and we're going to deliver the same feelings.
Yeah, and I think I think it really worked. So we should talk about, for people who haven't seen it, what is Mr. Malcolm's List? It is based on a book. I haven't read the book.
It is. That's why I was like, let me pull up the book summary. Because here's the thing I noticed, because immediately after I was like, oh, I should read the book. Apparently I should not read the book, and I should just love the movie. Because absolutely no one I know liked the book.
That's what I saw too.
3.26 on Goodreads, y'all. That's not good.
Man. No, but the movie they made based on it is gorgeous. So it's, I mean, the premise is gold. I mean, for a historical.
It is it's Mr. Darcy, right?
Right, but he's
Darcy.
He's snubbed a woman, a well-bred woman. And she comes to find out that he has this list of attributes that have to be met for a spouse. And she decides, I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine and get my friend to who I think fits a lot of these things, to sort of pretend to be everything he wants and then break his heart and see how he likes it.
Her friend, Selena, is literally a vicar's daughter that they went to boarding school together, the ladies finishing school together. And she's not nicely entertained this friend's letters, I would say. Julia is not the nicest, most likable character.
No.
Because when I don't know about you, but that was I was like, is she? I was like, she can't be the love interest. Because I didn't really pay attention to anything about the book, or anything beforehand. I just saw a couple of my friends saw it and liked it, and I was like, oh, we should do a podcast episode on this. This was perfectly up Bethany and I's alley for a movie.
Yeah, no, it totally was. It was a great idea. I'm glad I saw it.
But yeah, she's a vicar's daughter, which is always the funnest when it's I'm not supposed to be in society. I don't know how to be in society.
Yeah.
and
the fact that barely any of it she had to fake. She just genuinely was most of the things he was looking for.
It was really cute.
It was. And I also actually really liked the fact that the friend, ended up with somebody who also really saw her for who she was and loved her for it.
Yes, agreed.
That made me happy.
She redeemed herself by the end of her unlikability, I feel like.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. She made some poor choices along the way, but
she really did.
Yeah. She reminded me a little bit of Emma.
I've never read
it. If from Jane Austen, from the Jane Austen. Okay.
Yeah, I've never read it, but I know loosely.
Okay. So for people who are more familiar, she's the kind of character who reminds me more of Emma, except a little more extreme.
Yeah. I can see that from the Emma movies.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my frame of reference on Jane Austen at this point in my life, because I've just given up reading them.
You're missing out, Izzy. You're missing out. They're so good.
Maybe we'll do a podcast episode where I have to read one. We'll see.
Oh, that would be
I'm sure they're great. I just, when the problem is I always try to read Pride and Prejudice, and I've consumed so much media based on that one that I think I can't read it now.
Okay, you know what we should do? I think this would be fun. Maybe we could do this for an episode. I actually recently reread it. We should do Northanger Abbey. It's short, it's funny, it's satirical. It reads kind of like a YA novel.
Okay. I'm down.
I think you'd be into it. Also, I desperately want to see a good remake or like retelling of Northanger Abbey, because it is like there's so much opportunity for comedy in the story. It's basically a send-up of Gothics. It's a send-up of like the Gothic romance. It's about a young woman who is obsessed with reading Gothic novels, and she kind of gets herself into trouble because she makes some really bad assumptions about people that she shouldn't make.
I love this idea. This sounds great. I mean, like I said, I think the problem is I always try Pride and Prejudice, and I love all the adaptations, but I have consumed so much that I'm like, I know this story.
Right. Well, and that one's a little bit, I mean, I think there's a lot of value to the book, but I feel like as a place to start, given that, like maybe something else would be better. But yeah, Northanger Abbey is I think underappreciated. It's lighter and less dense than most of her later books. It was her first novel. So anyway, not that this is about Jane Austen.
It's totally off topic. Well, but it's similar vibes. It's all in that same historical realm.
And I really enjoy it.
I think it was so interesting how the list played out. Like, some of his requirements were a little much.
Yes.
I feel like who's really going to know about the weird political thing?
Oh, like, let me ask you about the corn laws. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's really
it was
funny. Oh my gosh.
I was just like, oh man, I can just imagine. He's the equivalent of the guy in the modern day that takes you on a date and wants to explain crypto to you, I think.
Yes.
Like, it's so bad. But I truly
but not even wants to explain it to you, but like needs you to know about it already enough to have a good conversation about it.
Yeah, like 100%. Yeah. Like, it's a both. Like, he's open to explaining it to you, but you also have to pick it up really quickly.
Yeah.
And be ready to like dive in. And just be like, or this is why like NFTs, like it would just he's one of those that you're like, Lord save me.
Yeah. Well, and it's what I like about the movie is that you have people with such different personalities who have like positives, but also major blind spots. And the people that work for them just work. And I love that like flawed people have matches.
Yes.
You know, have people that are good fits for them. I just think it's beautiful.
I like that.
I cried. I was okay. Listen, I literally cried at the end of the movie. I was like, tears running down my face. Oh my gosh. I never cry. Well, okay. And I was the only person in the theater, so I probably felt more like, because I went to see it at like 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Literally the only person in the theater. So at the end,
I was just one of like 10 people.
Okay.
There was one couple, me, one lady by herself, and then like 3 older women in the front row having their like movie date on a Monday afternoon.
I love it.
I was literally like, oh, it's going to be just me. And then I was like, nope. And they were really cute. They were like chatting before and after, and it was just really fun. They were talking about all the actors and stuff that they didn't recognize, like that they'd never seen in this, which was fun. I liked that too. This was like all new people that I don't think I've seen in anything.
Yeah, well, because it's from more of like an indie studio.
Yeah. Which is nice though. Like I love to get to see new people on screen and be like, oh, you did really good.
Yeah. Well, and the diversity in the casting is really cool. And I don't know details, but I saw in passing that there was also quite a bit of diversity behind the screen as well in terms of who was making the film. It was directed by a woman, which is great. And I don't know if they did colorblind casting. It possibly. I just think it's like such an interesting.
I don't think the casting is reflected in the book, like in any way.
No, it definitely doesn't look that way. But I love it. I thought it was just like a beautiful,
and it felt like such like a love song to like all the other great historicals that we have gotten in the past. You know, every movie and all that. Where I was just like, this is so cute and sweet.
Yeah.
So, who was your favorite character?
Oh my gosh. Who was my favorite character? I don't know. More than having a specific favorite character, I really just enjoyed the relationships. I liked seeing what people brought out in each other. So I really liked seeing the relationship between Selena and Julia, how they were so different and yet had this friendship that wasn't perfect, but I liked seeing kind of how they interacted with each other. I liked seeing both of the different romances. And so I guess that's the thing is, like, for me, maybe more than having a specific favorite character, I really enjoyed seeing the interaction because we had such different personalities, you know, like kind of on the screen interacting with each other. And I think that was just fun to see.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I do think what's his name? The officer guy?
Yeah, that's the name. I can't. I'm like, I got everybody else.
Captain Henry Ossery?
Yeah.
Oh, Theo James played him. He's been in stuff.
Wait, that was him?
Yeah.
I did not realize that was him.
Yeah, he was in like the Divergent movies and stuff.
Like, yeah, I know. I just did not realize that was him at all.
I didn't either.
I feel like I usually recognize him because of the Divergent stuff.
That's so interesting. Yeah, he must have been kind of their like big name person.
I think so.
They brought on. Yeah, no, but I really liked him. I liked the captain. I thought he was hilarious, and he was such a good foil for everyone. And the brother. I really liked
Cassidy.
Cassidy. Oh,
the cousin.
The cousin. Yes,
he's the cousin. I think he was my favorite.
Honestly, I think
there. He's like, "What's up? I'm here." And he's like, "This is really silly." And
he was just getting like,
I just love how he's like,
over.
"Julia, I don't think this is a good idea." And she's like, "I don't care. We're doing it." And he's like, "Fine, we're doing it. I'm along for the ride. Let's go."
Okay, all right, fine. Yeah, he was hilarious. He arguably could have been my favorite character.
Just think he was so funny. Yeah,
he was so funny. I low-key wanted at the end credits him like having a gay love interest or something as like a little mini, you know what I mean? Like I kind of wanted like something.
That would have been fun. I like that idea. Yeah. He was just so, and like when they're at the party and he's in the dress, he's in the toga, and he's like, "It's not a dress, but I understand why you like dresses." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, accuracy." We must deny that this is not a dress because it's a toga, but it's basically a dress. I was like, this is so accurate.
Yeah. No, but it was fun. It followed so many of the beats that we do like from historicals. There's a house party, there's a masquerade, there's like, you know, I really enjoyed all of it.
I did too.
And I liked the fact too that, you know, everybody had to learn some things.
Yeah, it was actually like, it's very, I always love when we get a cast of characters in a book and a movie and everyone has to learn things. Like that's always fun. And this like did that so well because they all learned different things. Yeah, Mr. Malcolm learned his list was a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I think he learned that he was too,
and that he was.
Well, I think what was interesting, right, is that we kind of learned that the list is a crutch for him. That like ultimately, it's not really even about the things on the list; it's about his fear of intimacy.
Yeah, it's his way of protecting himself from it, and that was so interesting, especially with the ending and his mom being the one that set things up, and he didn't even think it was his mom. And then he realizes, you know, he messed up, and we have this beautiful ending, of course, where she chases her down.
Like chasing her down on the horse. I was like,
it was so good. Well, I was just like, this is every romance book, like historical, like the scene of them like running down the person. And I was like, this is it. This. I was like, I am very happy with this movie. I have spent a great $8. I'm very happy.
Oh my gosh, it was
and
beautiful.
I was like, I left it and was like texting my friends, like, go watch this. You need to see it. I don't care when it drops streaming, wherever. Like, you need to make a point to see it because you're going to love it.
Well, and I think honestly for me too, because like representation is such a thing I care about. Like probably half of me was crying because I thought the love story was beautiful, and half of it because I was like, just think about the people who are like getting to like see this representation in this beautiful historical romance on screen. You know, like it's people who don't look like what you usually get, even though they
Mm-hmm.
lived at that time as well and were, you know, and I don't know, I kind of love
I
that
loved how much representation was in this movie.
So much.
It was wild. At times I was like, holy crap. Because like I mean, we know people are people, but like after seeing how some people reacted to like Bridgerton castings, right?
Yeah.
And things, it's like they just did it in this movie and it was like no big deal. I mean, I think it helps this book isn't like beloved necessarily.
Right.
So there weren't as many people to be upset about it. But it just
I
was
think
like
people are just getting more used to it. I think Bridgerton sort of in some ways paved the way for other books and films to do similar things where, you know, people don't just expect to only ever see white faces on screen in historicals anymore, which I think is a positive thing because, you know, honestly, like, it's not even historically accurate. Like, we know that there were people of color living and people in the aristocracy. Like, one of the royal family, like the queens had a ward who was an African young woman, and like there are paintings of her. So I mean, like, it's just the whitewashing of history is sort of what we've become accustomed to, but that's not even what it is. And even like reading, you know, the Bronte sisters, reading Jane Austen, like if you read between the lines, like it's not said in the same language we would today, but like there are people of color that appear in the
it's
classic.
Shocking that this is like a thing that people can't handle, but
right.
I mean, it's not shocking, but you know what I mean? You're just like, what is wrong with you?
Right. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting towards the end that we got, you know, it didn't go into a lot of depth, but Mr. Malcolm said something at one point that was Yoruban. So like we learn a little bit about the fact that like they're, you know, have moved there from Africa. So like there's, I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of interesting things being explored.
There is.
I'm so curious who was behind the scenes on the movie, because I do know, and I probably could look it up and find it, but like I know the director was a woman, a white woman. It was like it seems female led. The writer was a woman. I don't know where you go to find the rest of the
all casting crew on IMDb. The author helped adapt it to the screenplay, it looks like.
Oh wow, that's great.
Well, and it's such a short book. I was kind of surprised when I looked that the book was like under 300 pages.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting looking at it is that like the majority of the producers are women.
I'm looking too, because now I'm curious, like how many.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of women.
A lot of women, yeah. Which honestly, I think you can kind of tell that it was filmed by women because it, I don't know, like it has that feel.
The female gaze is very present in this movie.
Yes.
I would say. In a way that is just delightful.
I guess what I wonder is, oh, that's interesting. So one of the actresses, the one who played Selena, was also a producer.
I mean, you know, I can kind of see it. I feel like that happens a lot. I also just saw that apparently the Oleander guy was supposed to be in it, but he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts.
Interesting.
So I was like, that is interesting. It's well rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. It's not well rated on IMDb.
The casting director also cast All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Really interesting.
It's apparently coming to streaming July 21st.
Awesome. So everybody should... Oh, well, you know what? That works out perfectly because it'll be available on streaming before this goes up.
As I was thinking, I was like, wait, won't this be up?
That's perfect.
After?
Yeah. So, no, that's great. So everyone can go see it. Yeah, I really liked it. I think it's such a good film. And it's interesting to see something like this coming out. I hope we get more of this. I know it's not a huge film, but it seems to be getting a lot of critical acclaim. The attention it's getting.
So far, everyone I know that's watched it liked it. So, and that's a lot of romance
I mean, yeah.
But, and like looking at IMDb, and I'm not surprised when people are just like, oh, it's just another, and it's like, no, it's not just another Jane Austen-y whatever they wanted.
No.
It's always Jane Austen they compare it to, right? But I'm like, there's more to it than that. There's more to that genre than Jane Austen, if we're gonna go that old school. But like,
no, I mean, honestly, this was one of the best, most satisfying historical romance films I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. I'm literally excited to rewatch it, and I don't rewatch things. Like I know I don't rewatch very much either. We don't rewatch a lot, so like I was like, I'm so excited for this to hit streaming. I'm gonna rewatch it.
It was so good. Well, and you know what? The other thing that I loved actually, and would also rewatch this year, that was also the movie, was the Lost City.
Oh yeah, yes, I watched that. I love
Sandra Bullock. I loved that too. It was so good.
An episode on that too.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah. No, but I feel like, you know, we've gotten a couple of really good romance.
Yeah, that's 2 romance movies this year. I feel like that's more than normal.
Yeah, well, and like
faking us out with like people dying at the end or are dead in the whole movie. I feel like.
Right. Well, so the interesting comparison is I saw a tweet, and I wanted to bring this up in this episode. I saw a tweet saying that somebody felt like it's unfortunate that Mr. Malcolm's List is getting less attention. They feel like it's been overshadowed by the new Persuasion adaptation on Netflix, which I have not seen yet. I don't want to see it based on
I'm laughing. No, all I have seen is people roasting. And it's like, apparently they do the, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a lot of like modern references.
Yes.
I need to go watch Alexa Dunn's.
Well, and also
she's gonna do reaction TikToks.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to see it. Well, and I know also like that she is sort of like drinking wine all the time, and she's not at all. I saw somebody who enjoyed it saying, "Listen, I enjoyed it, but in my head, it's persuasion-ish." Not
okay.
So I mean, yeah. And I also remember before it came out, I saw a tweet and I was like, yes, that nailed it. They were like, you just can't help it. Dakota Johnson's face looks like she knows what an iPhone is.
Yeah, no, that's such a thing though, right? Like, you can't cast somebody in a historical that looks like they know what an iPhone is.
Yes.
Because
it's not immersive.
Even in the diverse castings for Bridgerton and stuff, and it's some of it's how they style them too. I'm not going to say like it's just face shape, but like her hair in Persuasion looks off to me. Everything just doesn't look quite right.
No. Yeah.
To me. I'm not touching it with 10 football. I will watch everyone's reactions on TikTok to it though, roasting it, because it feeds my soul.
I feel like it's going to make me sad because I do like Persuasion, and I feel like it's ruining the things that I like about Persuasion. And I respect the fact that people can like it for what it is. I just don't think I can do that.
Well, maybe you need to watch it and then tell me beat for beat all about what's wrong with it.
Oh my God. I also saw there's been headlines saying like, well, can any adaptation survive the Jane Austen police? And I'm like, oh my God, like really?
That's not it. That's not
But also, the problem.
Again, we have really good adaptations already.
We do.
So if you want to do better, you got to really do better.
Like if you want to do a modern Persuasion, just do a modern Persuasion. You know, don't.
Yeah, but then everyone will yell at you because it's not set in the right time period. I feel like.
No, but somehow. you can do modern adaptations. I mean, like Clueless is an it's not. There's like a lot of things that are adaptations.
No, you can. I'm just saying, like, I just imagine that then the headlines are, you can't do modern adaptations.
Oh my gosh. I guess I just feel like, if you wanted to do a modern take on Persuasion, which is clearly what they wanted to do, like, you know what this feels like to me? This feels like the writers were like, we want to do a modern Persuasion, but we also want to capitalize on Bridgerton. So let's do a modern version in period clothes.
I think that's what they did, basically. I don't disagree. Like, because I feel like they didn't get the bit of Bridgerton that is still period, whatever accurate it is. Yeah. Right. As far as
it's got the right vibe. Like, it feels semi-immersively believable.
I don't dislike Dakota Johnson by any means, but I just cannot see her being cast in a Jane Austen thing.
No.
All I see her now is as Anna Steele. So, unfortunate for her, she's forever 50 Shades in my head.
I have never seen any of the 50 Shades movies, and that is still how I feel. I've seen the trailers.
Oh, I feel like I need to make you watch these.
No, I do not want to see them. I never read the book.
They're so fun.
Oh my god.
They're so fun, Bethany.
Oh,
they're so funny.
Oh my gosh. I have read.
I'm gonna go infiltrate your Patreon and immediately campaign for this.
Oh my god. No.
Get out.
Oh my gosh. I've read detailed descriptions of the books and they sound like my worst nightmare.
Oh, they are. You should not read the books.
I do not want to read the books. But I mean, I for anybody listening, if you love the 50 Shades, like I fully respect that. I have like questionable things that I enjoy, totally fine. It however sounds like it would hit a lot of the things that really irritate me, and
it would. No, it would. Did you watch the 365 movie?
No, it's also sounding terrible. Oh my god, no.
I feel like I need to torture you with one of these at some point.
I can't. 365, I was like, I can't. That one, I was like, I couldn't. No. That was like a hard no. I read some things about it.
I think I'm so mean to you because I'm sitting here like, I'm gonna make you watch one of these.
Oh my god. I'm sure it would get views. I could do like a live reaction to 50 Shades. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
We're doing it. We're gonna make this happen.
No. Oh.
It's just gonna be me clapping and giggling the whole time and you just being like, no.
This is gonna be terrible.
Like, it's gonna be you going no and me cackling because I just like they just crack me up. They're so goofy.
Oh
it's like the old Twilight movies. Like they crack me up.
Yeah.
Do I think they're quality cinema? No, but I do love like to throw them on. And
right.
Just, like,
I mean, because I've seen the trailers and I've seen clips and I'm like, this looks so absurd.
And it's so good. No, the best part about 50 Shades though is you watch it knowing that they hated each other. The actor and actress, like Dakota and whatever his name is, hated each other. And I think it's hilarious to have to watch them act like they don't hate each other.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of good romance movies. We just get like weird adaptations, like 365, which like I enjoyed for what it was, but like it is very much in my realm of romance that I read, and it felt like one of those on screen. And not necessarily good or quality, but like it was funny.
But it's like the kind of stuff I would not read.
No, I know. No. I've not read the book. I did not read 365.
I
got an arc of it, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna read this.
No, that's too much.
I thought I was, and I didn't. I was like, I don't know if I can. It's also very long, and I was like, no. I have a limit for how long I'll spend with bad things.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's usually a movie. I will watch a bad movie of a thing. But I will not read the book of the thing.
Oh my gosh. I can't I don't know. Like there's some things I just can't do even with movies. I actually probably have worse responses sometimes to movies than books. Like there are things I can read in books that I can't watch on screen.
I get that. I mean, listen. I don't watch horror on screen, but I read it with my eyeballs. So
yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, we're going in so many random directions.
We are.
What am I going to title this episode?
I don't. I just had a thought. I was like, we went full circle. Back to Mr. Malcolm's List and historical adaptations of Persuasion. Yeah. Let's wrap it back around. Everyone needs to tell me that Bethany needs to watch 50 Shades so we can do a video about it.
Oh my gosh.
Just for the torture alone.
Oh Lord have mercy. I don't know. I might if I can can find a way to turn it into like decent views, I might be persuaded.
I think we can do that. We might be able to do that.
I'd have to like figure out how.
Yeah, I know. That's the hard part. But back to this. I just was so surprised. I think at the end of the day too, like I remember when this book, do you remember when this book came out at all or no? When Mr. Malcolm's List dropped?
No.
Okay. I didn't either. Like, I think I briefly saw the cover and I was like, no. No, thank you. It was like a weird illustrated cover. And then I left the movie and I looked it up and I'm like looking and there's like Mara from Books Like Wolves review and everyone else I know was like 3 stars and under. And I was like, huh. We somehow got an amazing adaptation out of a very mediocre book.
Yeah.
Which feels like it doesn't line up for me.
No. I just think it's interesting. Yeah, like Mara's review is not very good. Like oh my gosh, like some of these reviews, like somebody I follow wrote,
nice.
This book is like if a 13-year-old wrote an entire novel made entirely of dialogue their guessing would have been used in 1800s London.
I am just so surprised at how
oh my god
much people did not. I mean, and I don't feel like I see Mara 2-star books that I look at very often. So I was like, dang.
Yeah. Well, she gave it 2.5. It was 2.5. Bingeable, similar to fanfic in structure and tone, but a lot lacking in character development, plot pacing, and consistency in voice.
And obviously historical accuracy is not there.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't really care about historical accuracy, but I think didn't really sell it. Someone else was like, so much telling, didn't like the writing, but I could see this being adapted into a screenplay. So, I mean, like, you know.
Someone else said this is a fantastic study on how not to write a Regency romance.
Yeah, like, there's not...
Apparently it's got...
People are like, how is this being made into a film? This is one of the worst romance novels I've read. No.
My favorite is their end of the review is, why do so many things happen before they can resolve this? I mean, accurate, but also it's just funny. Yeah, a lot of people did not like this.
Yeah, like it's really not good reviews, but the film,
is great. Is the thing. I mean, I feel like if you're interested in it, go watch the movie.
Just go watch the movie. Don't read the book.
I put the book on hold at the library, but I don't think I'm going to read it.
No, I'll rewatch the movie though. The movie is great.
The movie's going into my rotation when I put just a random thing on the TV.
Yeah, it's just also beautiful. I love all the costumes and yeah, it was good.
It was just delightful.
It was all delightful. Yep, it was what I wanted.
Historical movies. Are there any others coming out?
I don't know. Maybe that would be great.
I'm Googling.
I'm a little bummed that they didn't do a better Persuasion adaptation because I could have been excited for it, but then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh god, no, I can't watch this.
I literally didn't even watch the trailer. I saw that.
Terrible. It's terrible. Like, you should watch the trailer though. It's funny.
Before the trailer even came across my feed in any way, all I had was everyone talking about how bad it is. So I was just like, okay.
You should watch the trailer. It's pretty funny, actually. I was like, what are they doing?
We got Bros coming out. That's the gay rom-com.
That's not historical.
No, I know. I just Googled what's coming out, and that came up on the list. I don't think we have any more historicals coming.
Alas.
I know. This is sad.
It is. I love historicals. That one with
Harry Styles, apparently, in October. It's called My Policeman. It's a gay romance also, and it's set in England in the 50s.
We're getting a lot of gay romances.
I know. I was like, well, okay, between that and Bros, what is going on?
Yeah, well, and Our Flag Means Death is having a moment.
Oh, yes, it's so good, though.
Maybe the gay romance spike will lead us into a sapphic romance spike. We've seen it in books. So. Maybe we'll start getting, like, I feel like film adaptations are like always behind books a little bit. in what's popular. Sapphic is having a big boom in books right now, so I'm hoping in a couple years we'll start to see, you know.
I would love. I mean, I haven't watched it. The Lady Portrait on Fire, whatever movie was
That's true.
somewhat Sapphic, but I don't think it's a romance.
Colette, that's true. They're not romances.
But we're still getting some more Sapphic.
We are getting more like Sapphic historicals, which I appreciate. Yeah, I would like to see more. Give us more actual romances. Like I would love to see, like if they did like Ladies Guide to Celestial Mechanics as a movie. Like, can you imagine?
I would die.
So
I feel like it would have really lush like rooms on set and stuff.
That would be so
like
good.
It would be just really like rich fabrics and colors. It would be beautiful.
Yeah.
And if that one, I feel like they could do like smash some of the books together into one movie almost and have multiple romances.
Honestly, I mean, all three of the books from our last episode where we had Adriana Herrera, Olivia Waite, Erica Ridley, like, and all of their books would be excellent adapted. Yes. I would see them in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I really just would love to see more of the things on my like shelves that are historicals and general romances adapted at this point. It doesn't make sense how much like YA and other genres get picked up for rights that we don't see done the same in romance.
Yeah, I mean, because people will show up for it. I think we're starting to see a shift a little bit. Like I know Kennedy Ryan has something in process.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she does.
Like a couple things. So
listen, give me my live action Ice Barbarians. We demand it.
That would be a time.
I'm just picturing going to the theater at the preview starts and we're all like, oh God, we're going to have to explain this to people. We're going to have to explain this to people.
Okay. You know what would also make a great Netflix series? The Reluctant Royals by Alyssa Cole.
Yes.
Like you could do a whole like seasons of it. Oh, it would be so good. It would be so beautiful.
Be amazing. Oh, I want it. I want Alyssa Cole.
I want it so much. I just like I want all all of the romance and the diverse romance adaptations of these things because they could be so good.
Yeah, I mean we're supposed to get the ACOTAR show, right?
Yeah, whoever that's gonna be.
Hulu,
maybe I don't know. I feel like them and like Peacock are picking everything up.
I thought it was Hulu, but
I heard Sarah J. Maas moved out to California to be like a producer on the show.
Yeah, it's Hulu. I was right.
Okay. I don't have Hulu.
And it's from the Outlander showrunner.
We'll see what they do. I think, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm definitely curious to see how this plays out, over the next couple of years. If like Bridgerton and all that is going to give us like that boom of more goodness being adapted.
I really hope so.
That is the goal. Or this, take a book that not everybody loved and make a great movie. I'm here for it. Like I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I just think it's so interesting that the book wasn't very good.
For the love of God, make a Beverly Jenkins one.
Yes.
Like come on.
Let's give us some like really Western romances. You can get some like, hot guys in cowboy hats and it's going to be good.
What we need.
It's exactly what we need
to heal as a nation.
Yes. I want it all. I want to see it all adapted and who knows, maybe we'll get some of it. But I guess I will title this Mr. Malcolm's List and romance adaptations.
Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
We went everywhere. It's fine.
We kind of went everywhere.
It's fine. It happens.
Well, part of the problem is it's not super fresh either because we were going to record and then I got COVID and so a week later we're recording.
Also, don't want to fully spoil the movie yet. I feel like.
Right.
I mean, we spoiled a pretty good chunk of it, but we didn't like fully spoil it, I feel like. So,
yeah.
Because it was a good reveal at the end.
It was good. I loved it. So go see it if you haven't yet. We recommend. So we're going to move into On My Radar, where we're going to share recent and upcoming book releases in sci-fi, fantasy, and romance we're excited about. And the books for today's episode will be mostly released between August 9th and August 22nd, 2022. Izzy might have some things
All of mine are August 23rd.
That'll work. It's fine. It's all good. But first, if you enjoy the podcast, we would appreciate if you take a moment to rate and review us so we can continue to reach more listeners. And if you're interested in getting early access to episodes, as well as exclusive bonus content with every episode, which is always fun, consider supporting us on Patreon. Huge thanks to all of our supporting patrons, including our world-expanding patron, Sarah. You all make what we do possible, so thank you for your support. And I've got 3 books this time, and they are all fantasy. So I don't know what you have.
3 romances that all come out August 23rd somehow. I literally, awesome. I was like, let me go look at the dates. And I was like, oh. How I managed that, I don't know. I just grabbed
perfect. Okay, well, we can just alternate. Okay, so the first one I have, and I guess actually all of mine are sequels.
Oh, interesting.
That I'm excited about, yeah. The first one is Bloodlike Fate by Lizelle Sambery. This is the sequel to Bloodlike Magic, which was her debut. I loved it. I don't know that it got the attention it should have gotten. It's a sci fantasy set in Toronto with a black girl witch character, but it's set in the near future. It's got sci-fi elements to it, and it was great. Book 1, the premise is basically that to become a full-blooded witch, she has to complete a task, and the task she's given is to kill her first love.
So, okay. Yeah. I think I remember when you read this last year, and I was like, I think it was last year.
It's great. We actually, I had her on the podcast to talk about it. So I will, on YouTube at least, I'll link that episode. And if people want to hear her talk about it, it was great talking to her about it.
That's also probably why I know it. But I was like, I remember you talking about it, and I was like, oh, I need to read this. And as always with my YAs, it never happens.
Yeah. I think it's just a duology, so I'm excited to read that one.
Then. I will have to see what library has it.
Yeah.
I have Scandalized by Ivy Owens. I heard about this on Fated Mates, I believe. Like somebody had an arc on there. And it's a one-night stand between 2 childhood friends. One of them is on a deadline working on a story that could like make their career, right? They're an investigative journalist. They get stuck in an airport overnight, and a familiar face appears, which is the older brother of their childhood friend, and offers help. And they hook up. He also happens to be the person she is doing her investigative journalism on.
Ooh.
But she doesn't realize it's him.
Oh.
Because, like, he doesn't, I think, you know, he's, like, grown up, and she doesn't realize that's what he looks like now as an adult.
I know.
And he's, like, I don't remember what he does. I think he might be a celebrity or something. But yeah, it just sounded really interesting, different. It's a really cute cover. It looks to be 2 Asian main characters, but I cannot confirm or deny. But it sounds freaking amazing. Awesome. I requested an arc and didn't get it yet, but I was like, that's fine. I'm going to get it the day it comes out. So what's your next one?
My next one's also coming out August 9th. It is Fury Song by Rosaria Munda. So this is the 3rd book in the Fireborn series. And I've got to say, this is like one of the best YA fantasy series coming out right now, just in terms of quality. If you like political fantasy, it's so good. It's so smart. There are dragons. There's like tons of political intrigue. There are love triangles. There's drama, like really, really high quality, top notch YA fantasy. There are people who I know who never read YA who have read the series and are into it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really good. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen because there was a big cliffhanger at the end of book 2.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm glad I haven't read that yet because there's a cliffhanger. My next August 23rd release is Ruby Fever by Oleander. This is the 3rd book in the 2nd trilogy set for the Baylor family. The first one follows Nevada and Matt Rogan. This one follows Catalina and Alessandro. And I just finally read the 2nd book, which I'd held off on because I knew like it was going to end and I was going to be very mad that I had to wait 2 years. And I'm very excited to see where this goes. I don't want to give anything away, really, but I feel like if you like urban fantasies, you're okay with a slow burn, and you aren't reading the Hidden Legacy trilogies, you're missing out, and you should fix that immediately because honestly, they're some of the funnest books I read. They have such great fun family, and there's tons of characters, but everyone's so unique that like you remember them for who they are, and like they pop up throughout the trilogy, and it's just a really fun time. And the family, a lot of strong family connections, which is also fun. Like it's a mix of family, like that's blood, and like their found family too, like all mixing, and you're just like, oh, the best, just the absolute best.
So my last one is August 16th. It is The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri. I will read anything by Tasha Suri. This is the sequel to The Jasmine Throne, which I love. It is epic political fantasy inspired by the history and mythology of India. And it's also got a sapphic romance in it. It's not fantasy romance, but it has a sapphic romance. And I like, Jasmine Throne was so good. And I cannot wait to read book 2.
I need to read book 1 really badly. All right, my last one is Heartbreaker by Sarah Mclean. This is the second book in her Hell's Bells series. Sarah, for me, is one of my favorite historical authors. I absolutely love them. I'm very excited for this one because she is a princess of thieves, as they call it. And her name is Adelaide Frampton, and she literally like will steal things from people. And her love interest is a duke, Duke of Claiborne. Obviously, probably, perhaps named after Kate Claiborne. Who knows? Maybe. They're friends. I think so. He has a really good reputation. And he has a past he's hiding, and perhaps she's gonna figure it all out. And they end up on the run, like on journeying across Britain to stop a wedding. So I'm just expecting a lot of forced and close proximity and tensions because she kind of doesn't care, and he's kind of like, trying to be very buttoned up and not reveal things.
Yeah, it should be fun. Awesome. So if you're interested in checking any of those out, as always, they will be listed and linked in the show notes or in the video description if you're watching us on YouTube. And this has been Chapter 3 Podcast. We're your hosts, Bethany and Izzy. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Chapter 3 Podcast. And you can also find us on our individual YouTube channels. The next episode will be available in 2 weeks, and we will be back with guests.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Talk about. That's right. Yeah. We'll be back with guests to talk about where to start with graphic novels and manga. So if you're intimidated by it, you're not always sure where to start, we're going to have some experts on to give us their best recommendations. So that should be fun. This episode's bonus content will be available to patrons in the next few days. Thanks for listening.